Ania. Welcome to the 70th installment of the Prester John investigation. How we reeling? My naga, how we reeling though? We made it to Prester John part 70. 70 installments. 70, great wave surfs, man. Let's go right into it, man. We're talking Anion, we're talking Quivera. We're talking that Keyber, man, right? Quivera, right? Love to Gene Matlock with some great recon on the Khyber. The Khyber. The Khyber is the Khyber, which is also the Heber of the Eber. We be talking Grand Canyon. What about the Grand Quivera? Babo Quiveri is also the Kiveri or Kivera. When India ruled the world. Which one, right? The book describes how the non-Africanoids, well, yeah, love to natural by law. Are you an African? Or an Amaruka? An American? Love to the bro. We natural by law, man, Ancient India, where's that? Spread throughout the entire world. One group, especially an Indian caste of miners, traders, international sailors known as the Kiberis or the Kybers, now known to us as Phoenicians and Jews. So the Khyber is the Khyber, is the Eber, is the Phoenician or the Jew? What does the Eber have to do with the Eberu? What does that have to do with Judah? Yeah, the Kivera has everything to do with the Judah, the Eberu. Okay, let's just start from the top. The 10 lost tribes of Afghanistan? Oh, drop. How do we get to Afghanistan? And Prester John, number 70, man. Let's go. You got all these links in the drop chatter. Click the link below to the drop chat room. That's where we'll be dropping all of our exclusive Prester John links and all the other drop links, man. And we got a lot of other, beautiful dropping from the drop tribe and drop nation, man. Let's go. Tribal Mafia. The Bible mentions the city of Medes as one of the locations of the Assyrian exile of the 10 tribes of Israel. Most explain and understand this area to be the region in northwest Persia called Kurdistan. Most, right? Because not everyone's going to agree with that. Where's Persia? Where's the real Persia? Where's the real Afghanistan? Hey, Managi, who is Afghan anyway? Any takers? We in Prester John, installment 70. Does anyone know who Afghan is? What does Afghan have to do with the Baba? With the Baba Kaveri? What does Afghan have to do with the Khyber or the Eber? and definitely with the 10 lost tribes. It is accepted tradition that the people of this area are from the Assyrian exile. Come. Because we've been talking Babylonian exile the whole time, Assyrian exile the whole time, the exilarchs, the tribes. When one considers the possibility of the people of this exile wandering north and east, and then this would apply to the tribes of Israel living in the Caucasian mountains. Just think about the actual Khazarian, which is really a swerving of Mazaka or Mosak or Moses. What does that have to all do with Russia and Russia and the Rus, the clan Ross and them? They would also claim this Caucasian, you know, location with this Russia, this Byzantine, this Cappadocia, and again this Mazaka, this Mosak, which became Khazari. Yeah, we're talking the areas of the Khazar in the old days. But who's the Khazar? And are we seeing clearly yet? Get the drop. Connect us with Mosak, the founder. Back to the Meshika, the Meshek tribe. The book of Josephus, which talks about the Meshek tribes. If, one day you're able to understand that so was the entire world once called after this tribe of Meshek or Moshe, like Mesheko, like Meshelkan, Mesheko, the Meshek, the Meshika. The Meshika are the original Mazaka, right? Which are the Mosaka after Mosak or Moses. Now, an eastern expansion beyond the Caspian Sea includes the areas Uzbekistan, Bukhara, Turkmenistan. From these areas, it is very easy to move south to Afghanistan, India, Pakistan, as well as to get to China. Which one? If one travels from the area of the Medes or Hamadan to the farther east, crossing the Khyber Mountains or the Khyber Pass, he comes into the frontier of Afghanistan today. Whoa, this looks like a phantom or a duplication. And it's important to get this duplication on point right now before we start dealing with the Afghan royal family. Oh boy, this is Prester John number 70, man. You got your Prester pack, you got all the drop. Look out for Prester pack 2. Told y'all every 10 Prester Johns, we're going to drop a new Prester pack. So, hey, we're on Prester John 70. Look out for Prester pack 2 with all the drop from Prester John 61 through 70. A Lego. So pay attention if one travels from the area of Medes and Hamadan, all right, to farther east. Where's the east, my noggin? We on press the 70. We should know where east is. Where's the orient? Where's the oriental, right? Crossing the Khyber Mountains. Where have we heard this name Khyber before? This Khyber Pass. They're saying it comes into the frontier of Afghanistan. I'm saying that Khyber Sure sounds a lot like Khyber Pass. Whoa. Khyber Pass is also Khyber Pass, which is Grand Quivera, which is Kivera. See how they changed the spelling from a KH to a Q to throw you way off of the Iberu. The Iberu, which they say is the Phoenician or the Jew. The Jew is the Iberu. We're talking Iber, huh? In this case, we're talking the Khyber Pass, man. I can't make this shit up. So you're saying there's a Khyber Pass connected with the Grand Quivera. We're talking New Mexico. We're talking Arizona, right? We're talking America, huh? They're talking Afghan. Crossing the Khyber Mountains or the Khyber Pass, he comes into the frontier of Afghanistan today. No, no, no. Khyber Pass. Khyber Pass. And instead of Afghanistan, when you look up Khyber, which became Quivera, on these old maps, Managi, say it with me. Ania. Or Anan bin David. Or Hanan, or Kanan. Uh-oh. What's down here? Quivera Regnum, right? Got 'em. Because the Quivera is the Quivera, is the Kivera, is the Khyber, is the Khyber. But this Khyber Pass ain't going to no Afghanistan. No Afghan that you're thinking of. What? Hey, my naga, who's Afghan? Who's Afghan? Nah, man. This Khyber Pass ain't going to Afghanistan. But that's what they want you to think, right? You just reading this, you're like, oh yeah, Khyber Pass, Afghanistan. I mean, watch all these duplications that start popping up around this Afghanistan, this Afghan, and this Israel flow, because it has everything to do with Israel, even when they're talking about Afghanistan over there today. Man, I can't make this stuff up. Khyber Pass, he comes into the frontier of Afghanistan today. There I personally found an amazing sight. There are so many of a tribe with names that had Yosef, Joseph, in the name Yusef Zad, Yusef Zuzi, Yusef Zad, etc., who claim origin from the lost tribes, and I personally believe it. Yusef means Joseph, and Yusef Zai means children of Joseph. The tribes of Joseph are the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh, who are part of the 10 lost tribes of Israel. They are called themselves Bani Israel, meaning children of Israel. Keep all this in mind as we build. We're going to go nice and smooth and swift, my naga. Just hold on to your rain boots. The drop is flowing, man. I told y'all we just popping off. I told y'all we just getting started. It's the fourth wave. Repetition breaks the spell, man. So they called themselves Bani Israel, right? We're talking about the tribes of Joseph, and hopefully we have time for some great Joseph drop on the way out of here. But yeah, again, this is Prester. This is the Prester hour, right? So any of our priests, we're gonna, big up like Joseph. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get into Jeremiah. Let's go. Who is Afghan? Afghanistan? Are we talking Khyber? Are we talking Khyber? Are we talking America? Or are we talking Afghanistan? Did they reflect and duplicate our American ancient history to form their Middle East, New Asia history and all this other stuff, right? So, I mean, what's the chance that there's a Afghanistan connecting with a Khyber Pass and a Khyber Pass connected with New Mexico and Arizona and California and all that, right? So, Managa, I'm just saying Khyber Pass, right? And knowing that this Khyber is Kivera or Kivera with a Q, we find it on the maps, the same spelling and everything. Kivera. Regnum is kingdom. So you gotta say, what's up with these kingdoms, right? Look at these regnums. Look at these regnums popping off. Where's this located, Managa? Where are we at? Let's check out this map. This is the 1604 genuine antique map. Let's go. Anion Quivera by Magini. It's cost $600 if you want to buy it off of eBay. All right, you see it right there, right? Way in the so-called West Coast. Let's go, let you know where we at. You see Florida and the East Coast. Florida and the East Coast. You got Canada up top. And to the West Coast, you got Anion and Quivera, the same way you see it positioned here. And this Limes Occidentis 1597 map. So these are maps at the end of the 16th century, early 17th century. You see Anion, Regnum, right? Quivera, top and bottom. This is the West Coast. This is right where you see Anion. It's the same place you saw that, we still got it up? That Prester map, the Prester British Museum map. You've seen it a million times. So it's the same thing we got here in the same spot, man. I mean, look, repetition breaks the spell, man. Just look at the positioning of things when we talk about being the first peoples. We have nothing but receipts. British Museum, right? Again, 1530, 16th century maps, right? Body bagging all over the place. All right, you got the Asia, that they call Asia today, right? With the Bering Strait, which is also the Strait of Anion, which connects these land masses, right? So they didn't have to go to get to Asia and Russia. They didn't have to go way the way you think across the Atlantic. You could walk over there, according to these ancient maps in the 16th century. All right, so this would be the West Coast, California, all that, right? Florida would be way over here on the right side. And right where Anion is where the Prester is, right? Prester John, India Superior, Mexico, Cathay, Con. Keep this in mind. We got it, right? Anion, same place the Prester would be, right? Right over Quivera, right? Right over Eber, right? Kivera is Khyber or Eber. They're talking about the Khyber Pass or the Khyber Pass over these mountains to Afghanistan. We're looking at these mountains on this map and we're saying, where's the Khyber Pass in relation, right? I mean, where's the Khyber Pass? I mean, that's the next thing we're going to start locating the Khyber. But, really the Khyber is the what? Is the Kivera. So it must be within the Kivera Regnum, which is pretty amazing stuff. Again, 1604 map. Go to the West Coast. You got Quivira, right? You got South America here. So we know when we see Quivira, we're talking about, right? See, we're talking about America, right? So what's the Khyber Pass situation all about? What's this Quivira really about? What's the Anion really about? What's the Khyber Pass to Grand Quivira really about? And why, oh why, over here does it say Khyber Pass? Passing that, he comes to Afghanistan. That makes us look at Afghanistan and say, who is Afghan, right? Because if we're finding Khyber right here in America, Khan, right? We're finding Quivira right here, right? Quivira right here, right? Khan, Quivira, which is Khyber. Got it. So this Khyber is in Afghanistan, they say today. But then they want to try to link this Joseph connection with it, right? Come on, man. Joseph and Khyber, right? I can't make this up. What would Joseph be doing near the Grand Khan? What would Joseph be doing in the Grand Canyon? Why are they finding, these Egyptian bodies in the Grand Canyon? Love to my bro Galen Coles, who shared this great shot within the Grand Canyon. More walls of this Egyptian flow. Look at how detailed this is. Look at the top. You saying this is play, some fake version of Egypt? Or are we finding the real deal right in the Grand Canyon? And didn't Joseph, have this rulership position in Egypt, right? So he's venerated within Egypt. They changed his name to a Zephaniah or something like that. Starts with a Z. And then there's even reports of them finding the body of Joseph. So, within this Grand Canyon. So what's this Joseph have to do with Afghan? Okay, we're just asking the right questions. Why would they be talking Joseph now, right? Yusuf means Joseph, right? And now we just connected the Khyber Pass. That's connected to this Yosef. This Khyber Pass has everything to do with the Grand Quivira. And the Grand Quivira is right here, right? In America. So these kingdoms at one time, were united. This is an Israel, whether you call it northern, southern tribe, you know what I'm saying, however you want to call it, this was a kingdom that is united. The Grand Canyon, connects really underground, probably all the way to Mount Roraima, my noggin. So, so, don't think of the Grand Canyon as just what they labeled it today. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about a kingdom. We're talking about a kingdom, a Quivira kingdom, right? A Quivira, Grand Quivira Pass, a Khyber Pass, right? So now let's connect to Yosef, right? Yusuf means Joseph, all right? We got the children of Joseph. We got the Bani Israel, they call themselves, meaning children of Israel. Their tradition is that they were carried away from their ancient homeland. Formerly, they were shepherds in search of pasture, but they gave up their nomadic life and settled in village communities. Let's go. Not only the Pathans, Pathans, but also the Afghan royal family has a very well-known tradition placing its origin in ancient Israel. They came from the tribe of Benjamin. We're going to talk about the tribe of Benjamin because it's very important to bring in uh, a very old player named Saul. Let's go. We narrowing it. We narrowing in on something, boss. Some interesting history here they're about to give us, boss. Let's go. This tradition was first published in 1635 in a book called Masan-i-Afghani. Look it up. All right, we got to dig on this book, and has often been mentioned in the research literature. According to this tradition, King Saul had a son called Jeremiah. I just said who's Afghan. Let's go. I know. Where does this lead us, right? I mean, yeah, it could be something, it could be nothing. We never claim to have all the answers. We're just asking the right questions. We're not afraid to say, is this the Jeremiah? Is this a duplicate Jeremiah? Or is it the Jeremiah? I mean, how could it be the Jeremiah, right? That's supposed to be at least 400 years separating King Saul and Jeremiah the prophet, according to, chronologies, right? King Saul had a son called Jeremiah, who had a son called Afghan. Who's Afghan? Uh-oh. Ping, pow, boom, bang. Managa, who's Afghan, man? Let's back up. So by the time they talking about this Eber, right? That's supposed to come into the frontier of Afghan, who is now the son of Jeremiah. Uh-oh. Who is the son of King Saul. And Saul is a contemporary of King David. Let's read more about it, shall we? Jeremiah died at about the time of King Saul's death. And Afghana was raised by King David. Uh-oh. So, man, it's getting good. Prester John 70. Oh, man, I tell him, man. Halal HaWah. Halal HaWah. That we as a tribe can dig for this many years, man. You know what I mean? And dig on so many other things and still come back to it and still be building and getting new information, new drop to connect, or at least, going back to what we consider old drop. But the drop can never be old. You're just talking about the water, man. The stuff we was digging on in 2016, we barely was, scratching the surface, man. Like, we can go back and just pop off a whole new flow just off of that alone. You know what I mean? So that's what's beautiful about the mem sauce. Love to yourself. All right. So we got Afghan, son of Jeremiah, who's the son of King Saul. Like I said, contemporary of David. But what happened? Saul died around the same time as Jeremiah. So Jeremiah's Ban Afghana was then raised by King David, and remained in the royal court during King Solomon's reign. So Afghan is highly respected. You're talking about the tribe of Benjamin. Remember, David did not want to kill King Saul. He tried to avoid it every way possible. And remember Jonathan, right? And David had a covenant with Jonathan and his bond and his people. So he took care of Jonathan's children as well, right? All right. He also took care of King Saul's son, son's son, or King Saul's grandchild, AFGHAN. Now, if King Saul had Jonathan, that means Jeremiah would be Jonathan's bro. Okay, let's surf the wave, man. We might as well. It's Prester John 70, man. So AFGHAN was raised by King David and remained in the royal court during King Solomon's reign. About 400 years later, in the time of disorder of Israel, the AFGHAN family fled to a land called Gur, which is in central Afghanistan. Is it? We might have to start looking for Gur in America. You dig? But sometimes they be, using different variations. We got to dig on it. So they settled and traded with the people of this area. And in the year 662, with the arrival of Islam, more on more war. The sons of Israel in Gur converted to the prophet with 7 representatives of the AFGHAN. So here's the cover story. At least we don't know. We weren't there. We can't confirm or deny that this tribe of Israel converted under Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? That's their story, right? Obviously, we know a lot of Israelites converted, to this day. So, that wouldn't surprise us. But what was going on for real? You know what I'm saying? This is why the investigation continues. Because we can ask those questions that rarely do get asked. You know what I'm saying? So they settled and traded with the people of the area. And in the year 662, with the arrival of Islam, the sons of Israel in Gur converted to the prophet with 7 representatives of the AFGHAN. The leader of the sons of Israel was Kish, like the name of Saul's father. So Saul's father is Kish, and the leader of the sons of Israel was Kish. And this is when we, said, hey, we got to look at Kish, as well as Asher, you know what I'm saying, which they had a whole lineage out of Asher called Cash. So when they talk Cush, by the time they talk Cush, you're just playing with vowels at this point. Like, if you're talking Cush, could there be another Cush also called Cash? And when Moses is king of Cush for 40 years, is he king of the Cush that we know under this, Hamitic flow, or is he king of Cash, you know what I'm saying, under this Asher flow, this Shemitic flow? And now you can introduce another flow called Kish. So you got Kish, Cush, and Cash, man. And the leader of the sons of Israel was Kish. According to this tradition, Muhammad, rewarded them, and Kish's Hebrew name was changed to Arab al-Rashid. Boss. Another flow to recon, right? Because now you know that when you talk about Kish as the father of Saul, and then you got either the same Kish or another Kish named after the father of Saul, who's the leader of Israel, which would make him an exilarch. During this time of captivity, especially while they're getting ran up on by Muhammad, who then does one of them convert or die situations. And Kish gets his name changed to Arab al-Rashid. Now, when you recon the Rashid families, right, they're Hebrew by default. But how in the world will we know to connect Arab al-Rashid to the tribes of the Hebrews, to the tribe of Israel, to the tribe of Benjamin? Oh boy. It's kind of like the Kofar al-Tarak and that whole Dajjal flow. You know what I'm saying? How we know to connect the Kafar al-Tarak with the Kar Katan. These were the nomads that were fighting not only on the side of Prester John, but literally you're talking about the wall of protection. the Prester Kofar al-Tarak, and we say, is that where they got the Kafir? Now, the Kafir means some derogatory flow, but the Kafir is coming from the Kofar, Kofar. Dodge the vowels. Now, Kish gets changed to Arab al-Rashid by Muhammad and was given the task of spreading Islam among his people. Is it true? We don't know, but this is their cover story that now they're using him to spread this false god, right? This is the roots of Afghan royal family. So now you know the Afghan royal family is named after AFGHAN, because Jeremiah had a son called AFGHAN. Okay. 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 The Afghan royal family. So the royals, anytime they're talking royals, unless they're talking about the tribes of Israel royals, they ain't talking about the real royal. And whether you in America, you know what I'm saying? Whether you're in America at the Khyber Pass or you're in the Khyber Pass connected with Afghanistan, you know that the Afghan is connected to Hebrew royalty under Jeremiah, under Saul, under Benjamin. And that the Khyber Pass has everything to do with Arizona and New Mexico and America, because we're just talking Kivera, Khan, 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 Khan. Yeah, they can't take us to the Middle East no more for nothing. We ain't giving the hijack nothing. We finding these same places right over here. Kavera over there. Nah, man. Khyber over there. They want a Khyber pass. They want a Khyber pass in Afghanistan, huh? So Afghan royal family has the tradition of ancient Israel, Benjamin, tribe of the southern kingdom of Judah. So Benjamin is a part of the southern kingdom of Judah. That's why they say sons of Judah still, even if they're Benjamin. Yusuf means Joseph. Yusuf Zai means children of Joseph. The tribes of Joseph are the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh, part of the 10 lost tribes. They call themselves Ban Israel, children of Israel. Yeah. So what they call the Pathans, Pathans, they said not, but also the Afghan royal family. So not only the Pathans, but also the Afghan royal families has a very well-known tradition placing its origin in ancient Israel. They came from the tribe of Benjamin. This tradition was first published in a book 1635 in a book called Masan I Afghan. So this is the part that they kind of started off yeah, up there. They're repeating some of that. I want to just, see if we can find any other substantiating recon telling us that this Afghan was raised by King David. Now you hear Afghanistan, you don't understand it has everything to do with King David, right? Because he's still Afghan, even remained during the reign of King Solomon in the court Afghan is the son of Jeremiah. Now, which Jeremiah? Because if he's the prophet Jeremiah, oh boy, these timelines, man. We can close a 400-year gap at least in the timeline. Jeremiah had a son, Afghan. King Saul had Jeremiah. So these are things that are not popular in the tradition of how these characters are presented. We never hear that King Saul has a son called Jeremiah. And we definitely never hear that Jeremiah even has any children. I mean, my noggin, when you look up the Jeremiah family tree, Jeremiah family tree. All right, so you got the high priest, Aaron. You got Shalom or Shalom or Shalawah. You got Hilkiah. Right, so Hilkiah, according to the tradition, Hilkiah. Now, since the birth order of Hilkiah's sons is unknown, except that Azariah was probably the oldest. But then you get Jeremiah here, and you don't obviously, it don't say King Saul, right? Obviously, us, we start to be like, so what's the connection between Hilkiah and Saul? Just to have fun. But this Jeremiah has no wife, no children. They cut it off right here. So we're just talking about some other Jeremiah, or are we filling in the gap with this Jeremiah? Why didn't they tell us about his children? Because then you would know about Afghan, right? And what's the importance about Afghan? Well, the Afghan is going to connect you, my noggin, like it's already doing, right to the Khyber, right to Kaveri. And it's not enough for them to change the spellings from a K to a Q and all that stuff, because they knew at some point this age of awakening and this World Wide Web, once we knew what to search for and we had access to it, it wouldn't take long. I mean, sure, they can, do the harm they want to do with the internet and technology and robots and AI, but it also has to work for us when we're in code, because we're the head, not the tail. So even the AI is going to have to give us the drop that Afghanistan is only referring to these Hebrews, and they're connecting it with the tribes of Israel and Joseph and all this flow with Benjamin and all this stuff, right? So we understand Khyber is connected with the Grand Khan, and, the Amaru Khan. We understand that the maps are giving us more receipts into the Khyber, Kivera, right here in America. In the 16th century, early 17th century, same old, Kivera, Antioch. Why don't they say that today, right? Why did they change your map today? How come your map today don't have Antioch and Kivera connected with the Strait of Anam, Strait of Antioch, and the Prester John in India superior? So again, this ain't no black supremacy. This is Naga superiority, and India is superior. With the Prester Khan, priest King Prester John. That's connected directly with Antioch. All right, so got me thinking about this $1,000 book. And yes, it's on your Ether packs. Yeah, I think the Ether Pack 1 got it. You know what I mean? So make sure you get the Ether Pack 1. This is brought to you by Ether Pack 1. Hit up the drop shop at 432thedrop.com. But I can't say too much, Just know you get hooked up on these Ether Packs and Prester Packs. You get the hookup. you're getting, you know what I'm saying? For $30, you're getting hundreds of books, man. So, that's the best we can do to get the information out on a nice, cool flash drive that he's making everything convenient and, you know, has everything compiled for you. You know what I'm saying? Just it's beautiful. So this is on there. That's all I'm going to say about that. The medieval empire of the Israelites. Let's go. Page 323 of the PDF. Oh man, oh man. 312 of the book. And again, this costs over $1,000. At least brand new on Amazon, and maybe you can get a deal for a few $100. I don't know, but holla at us and you got the drop. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. And again, this is stuff that we drop for free way before the Ether Pack. So a lot of my knockers got it, because we just been dropping the links. You know what I'm saying? Love to Big Judah. He been digging on the medieval empire of the Israelites. He sent his folk over here to get the drop. He said, hey, man, drop's giving y'all the PDF. So love to him. Love to everybody in that classroom because they got this for free. So by the time it hits the Ether Pack, you've already gotten it for years. A lot of this recon for free, but we took the time to compile it and make it a nice, neat situation. And it's your way of supporting the tribe and what we do, the infrastructure at 432. So Halal HaWah for everybody purchasing the Ether packs, Prester packs, Ether bands, and all the drop gear. And just everybody that's dropping that drop, man. I appreciate y'all for supporting all these classrooms, man. Everything we're doing. Blue, purple, red. Look out for us. According to the legend, the rulers of Afghanistan are the descendants of the ancient Israelites from the tribe of Benjamin. I'm just jumping in there. This is page 312 of the book. A knock, it costs $1,000. So yeah, that don't mean everything got to be right in it, but it definitely letting you know that, they're not playing, man. Especially if you've never heard about this. Love to the tribe behind the wall. We actually got a hard copy of this in, the brothers' hands that are in the prisons in Los Angeles and MDC and Lompoc and Victorville, man. We got it behind the wall, $1,000 book. These knockers was serious. They said, man, I need to see it. And they paid for it and they got it ordered and they got it into their own, special drop library behind the wall. And all praise to Allah for our journey, because we never know why we go through certain things. And I'm grateful to, witness what I've been able to witness. And, we're all a part of it, man. So, we're witnessing. We are the witnesses. So again, man, according to the legend, the rulers of Afghanistan are the descendants of the ancient Israelites from the tribe of Benjamin. It is extremely revealing that this assertion was expressed only in the 17th century. It is extremely revealing that this assertion was expressed only in the 17th century. That's why all these maps we got are from the 16th or 17th century, because they're from the 1600s, some from the 16th century as well. That is after the breakup of the empire of, so the breakup of the empire is the breakup of the fall of Israel. Because what they call empire, even they say that they're referring to Jerusalem and the birth of Islam. Whoa. So the birth of Islam wasn't until the what? Eeks. So this Muhammad flow happened when? 17th century. That might correlate with some drop if you look up, I don't know, it's in the drop library. What's it called? The birth of, the Vatican. I think the Vatican creation of Muhammad or something like that. But just look it up, the Vatican, Muhammad. And, literally breaking down how the Vatican, created this Muhammad situation. And it's much more recent. That this whole Islam flow is extremely recent. Taught to us, as antiquity, because then it starts connecting to a tribal flow. The tribe of the Mohammedans, per se. You know what I'm saying? The tribes of Shabazz and all that stuff that they talk about. So, they got, you know, it's like a forked road where you have this creation, but it's tied into their tribal history, back to the Moabite flow, back to all that stuff. So it's not just religion, then it gets tribal real quick, But the religion is very recent. But the tribal history obviously is ancient, because you're talking about, what I'm saying, the, worship of Merculus and this Mercury situation and all that, right? So that's when it really gets interesting. The adherents of this version maintain that King Saul, had a son, Yermayahu, or Jeremiah, who also had a son named AFGHAN. Jeremiah died approximately at the same time as his father Saul. AFGHAN secured a high position in the rule of King David and remained at the royal court during the rule of Solomon. 400 years later, during the troubles in Israel, the AFGHAN family resettled in the province of Gur, now the center of Afghanistan. They stayed here to live and went into trade. With the arrival of Islam on these lands, 7 representatives of the Jews who lived in Gur, headed by their leader Kish, appealed to the Prophet Muhammad. The Prophet rewarded them, and the Jewish name Kish was changed by Muhammad to the name Arab al-Rashid. Afterwards, Arab al-Rashid received instructions to spread Islam among his people. The legend bears, as we see, a strikingly pronounced religious character. It has been called upon to show the all-triumphant strength of Islam. Indeed, it was worth having Muhammad's lesson in sight, as the Jews immediately understood where the truth lay and bowed to the Prophet. So you see how important it was for them to put this story out, in their, inner circles, you know what I'm saying? They're using Jeremiah, who's one of the, you know, head lead prophets, right? So, and saying, yeah, well, we converted his whole tribe. We converted, his son and, you know, the whole tribe of his son, AFGHAN, you know what I'm saying? We converted all them to this Islam, to show the all triumphant strength of Islam. That's why you can't Islam us today, talking to the Moors, because they like to come, oh, Islam, brother, Islam. You're talking about a new 17th century situation. You're talking about a 17th century situation. It is extremely revealing that this assertion was expressed only in the 17th century, that is, after the breakup of the empire and the birth of Islam. When? Come on. You come over here to Islam, must understand, you're referring to a wartime. When you bring Islam to the Jew or Judah, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing cool in that connection. Not when Islam is, bragging about converting in their all triumphant way. Converting who? Oh, well, Muhammad changed Kish's name to Rashid, right? and told him to spread Islam to his people. In other words, to spread Islam to the tribes of Israel. And what do they do today when they Islamists? Try to get the tribes of Israel to join their Moorish Federation, right? Come on, man. That's blasphemy 101. That's putting the power before our power. Because once we go over there, it's all about Muhammad, right? And this Allah, this general Allah term for your power, well, we know the gods of the Moabites, they ain't gone nowhere. They will be considered Allah. They didn't go nowhere. So who's your Allah? It can't be the God of the Hebrews. It can't be the power of the Hebrew, because that's not the power of Muhammad. His power wasn't the power of the Hebrew, because he was trying to spread Islam to convert the Hebrew people. As the Jews immediately understood where the truth lay. Okay, see, so all the commandments and the code that the Hebrews were keeping, that Judah was keeping, they now had to see the truth somewhere else, right? And bow to the prophet. Bow to the prophet. Bow to the prophet. Don't Islam us today. You just want us to bow to your prophet. Hey, we KTC. If one does not take into account the religious slant, then before us is a truthful tale about how during the collapse of the empire, here we go, which is called the Troubles in Israel. What? The empire is all about Israel, right? A group of Israelites ran off to the former imperial province of Gur. Here they settled down, supported by the former governor general of the center, Kish. And being an educated and experienced people having money and connections became the actual rulers. Inasmuch as over time it became clear that the empire would not be restored and the religion which had predominated in it would not recover its lost position. The empire wouldn't be restored. Jerusalem would not be restored. This religion or this code that predominated in it used to dominate, right? The code used to dominate in it, but it could not recover its lost position. It was necessary to look for another ideological prop and distance itself from Judaism. And then they decided to lean upon the just born Islam. So were they converted or did they use Islam? You know what I mean? To, get to some other, checkpoint. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe to survive. Maybe it was about survival. Muhammad gladly agreed to support them. There are grounds to suppose that in particular such successes became the motivation behind the appearance in the Quran of the surahs supporting the ambition of the Jews to return to their own land. True, afterwards, it was necessary to replace mercy with anger. The local population, which hated the newcomer tax collectors, was not agreed to recognize anything at all that came from them. Therefore, other swords arose, just as God inspired, which called for the destruction of the Jews. The Hebrew, pronto and without mercy. So that conversion with this Islam connected within these surahs in the Quran, it was all about the destruction of the Ibaru, the more on more war, pronto and without any mercy. Yeah. If one agrees that revolutionary elements arouse in people by no means the best feelings, the artificiality of similar explanations is obvious. Most likely the crowd in those times still fully perceived Israel and the royal dynasty as a single whole. The 28 Israeli kings represented to them the predecessors of the holy or of the overthrown monarch. The predecessors of the overthrown monarch. Again, we're talking Israel, so what king was overthrown? Let us return, however, to the holy blood and the holy grail. Who's the grail, my nigga? The grail is the function. Who's carrying the function of the grail? Let's go. We in PJ 70, my nigga. The symbol of the grail is a symbol of authority and of traditions which are inherited. It is part and parcel of the legendary Prester John, my nigga. This is Prester John, installment 7. Like we just getting, Zani. Don't mind us, man. Halal HaWah. So we can't talk grail, we can't talk holy. And we damn sure can't talk holy grail without talking Prester John. Which again means priest king. So then you say, which priest king, right? Which Prester, which priest king? The legend of whom was spread widely in the Middle Ages. John was the master of a huge empire. He was omnipotent and all powerful. So this is, again, a body bag when you got this Matthew 28, this JC character who then wants to get all power and says, all power has been given to me under heaven and earth. Now go make disciples, go make some followers, because I got all the power. Who gave you the power from David? Son of David, right? Son of David, that's an immaculate conception that never came from the loins of the house of Judah. David, he's an immaculate conception, right? He can't be from the house of David. He's an immaculate conception, that JC in the New Test, that Yahweh, right? He's an immaculate conception, right? He can't be from the house of David. He's an immaculate conception. But Genesis tells you the scepter will never depart from the house of David. Ezekiel 37 tells you David is the one shepherd forever. Jeremiah 30 tells you, come on, that you're going to serve HaWah and Khan David, whom I will raise up for you. Hosea 3 tell you what? To seek HaWah and King David. Your Khan in the end of days. Where's the Prester who got the drop on the fountain of youth? John was the master of a huge empire. We're talking Quivera, we're talking Antioch. I mean, the British Museum is confirming all this, my nigga. The British Museum in 1530 is letting you know where Prester John is. Right over here in Antioch. Right over here, man. Florida, Mexico, Antioch, right? This is where the Prester be, right? That's where the Grand Khan is, right? The Grand Canyon, right? The Grand Quivera. But we ain't talking Afghanistan. But what does this have to do with Afghanistan, right? That's what we getting. So this led us to Prester John. He's all-powerful. Kings and czars like Caesars were for him only subjects. Tracticus Pulcherimus calls John the King of Kings, the Rex Regnum. Where have you seen this regnum word before? Regnum, right? Antioch or the Quivera, Regnum, right? Khan, Rex Regnum, the king of the kingdom, the king of the kings. King forever, shepherd forever, Hosea 3. He combines in himself spiritual and secular authority. You can't give authority to no son of David who ain't even a David because he's an immaculate conception. You can't give the title or the authority away, Hijack City. It remains with the spiritual Khan, the King of Kings. All powerful. Why? Because he's in code. HaWah says, I'll raise him up for you in Jeremiah 30. We're just talking Jeremiah, Yirmiyahu. Prester John, by HaWah's grace, Lord of all lords, who are only beneath heaven from the rising of the sun to paradise on earth, which gives you all the drop on where paradise is. If the sun rises in the east, it must set in paradise. Say it with me. Ania. Hey, they say it's the west, right, where the sun sets. So it's letting you know where the Prester is paradise, or Cathay, or India Superior. I mean, look at the weather over here, right? It would be considered paradise. Prester John is found in paradise. Con. Got it. British Museum, you got the drop. In all the medieval sources, Prester John controls and holds back the tribes of Gogs and Magogs and controls the seen and unseen world. Oh boy. Oh, the Prester sees clearly. He impedes the penetration into his kingdom of lions and giants. Imperial military units correspond to the lions, which had portrayals of a lion on their ensigns. The degraded caste of warriors who had renounced high principles and fell into the grip of arrogance, violence, and militancy corresponded to the giants or the titans. The giants, according to the epic literature of those times, were worshippers of the wolf. Dog-headed sinus of Phala. You already know. Some sources maintain that King Xerxes, Alexander the Great, the Roman emperors Ogier, King of Denmark, and many others visited the kingdom of Prester John. Yeah, man. Alexander came, had to holler at the Prester. Xerxes, Ogier, and they were accorded legitimatization of their status as rulers. So in order to be legit, they had to holler at the priest king. Just like today, those kingdoms had to go through the Pope, you know what I'm saying, to get their legitimatization. Back then, the Prester was the Pope. Now the Pope took the title as priest king, priest, and the king of Vatican City. Vatican City is its own kingdom, and the king of Vatican City is the Pope or the Prester, right? But the Vatican is Batu Khan. Batu Khan means what? Let's go. John's kingdom is named the Empire of the Great Khan, like the Grand Khan, like the Grand Canyon, right? Grand Canyon. And in mysterious and miraculous stories, that is the Khan Father. Yeah, so Prester John is Khan Father. That's where they got Godfather. In Slavic, Batu Khan or Vatikan, and Ba'at in Hebrew is house or tent or floor plan. And the Khan is the priest. So who got the floor plan? The floor plan can only come from HaWah. So the Batu Khan, the Khan of the house, has to be connected KTC to be a real Khan of the house. And Genghis Khan, wanted to be the Khan of the whole house. So he went to war with Prester John in 1202, they say, which became Vatican, which was originally Vatikan. who sits in the center of the world. According to the descriptions of Marco Polo, Hayton Manderville, Giovanni, Plano Carpinian, he was understood as the all-powerful sovereign and of a huge country, man. Wouldn't he be on the map? Yeah. In the British Museum, 1530. He is, rocking America, man. The Amaru Khan, the Amaru Khan, the Amaru, the Ama, the Amaru, the Amarus. Let's go. So he's the all-powerful sovereign of a huge country, huh? Wise, happy monarch fully corresponds to our version. The main conclusion is the ideal of the Grail is the idea of an imperial power. But you forgot you had an empire. You had to go find $1,000 book to remind you of your empire, your imperial power. I mean, that's interesting, right? We're just talking about the Vatican. I mean, the Vatican. The kingdom of Prester, John. Or we're just talking about Antioch and Quivera. If we're just talking about Quivera, man, that goes right back into this Afghan situation. Because this kingdom was destroyed, right? So you fast forward all this with this whole Quran and Islam situation, and that became the destruction of the Nagad, man. The destruction without mercy of the empire, the imperial power. More on more war. That's why they're doing the treaties on you, man. They been on your ass, man, without mercy. But HaWah said there'll be a thorn in your side bone. This just born Islam. So let's connect back with Kish. The Prophet rewarded them. This Muhammad rewarded them, changed Kish's name to Arab RASHID. And which Jeremiah is this? Is this the Prophet Jeremiah? We're just surfing that wave, man. Don't mind us. Is this the King Saul? And why didn't we know about this would be his fifth son? Because, they tell us he had 4 sons, but Jeremiah's not listed with that, right? Let's keep going. Talking the Jeremiah family tree again. They cut him off right here. They don't tell us anything else about him, right? He has no children on the record. So where did AFGHAN come from? Now this is where it gets, oh boy. Oh boy. AFGHAN. Because we're not supposed to know, what we know. So we now look up AFGHAN with eyes wide open. Let's go. AFGHAN is a tribal chief. Okay. Right. Because he's the son of Jeremiah. Or prince in Pashtun, said to be of the house of Israel, Ban, a son of Israel, Israelite. So the Afghana is an Israelite. Afghanistan is named after an Israelite, son of Jeremiah. Whether he's the prophet Jeremiah or another Jeremiah, he's still the son of King Saul. His son is Afghan, who was taken in by King David, man. All right. And they named Afghanistan after this Israelite that was raised under the tutelage of King Dawid, who is the seed of King Shaul. This Afghan is the grandson of Shaul. who is traditionally considered the progenitor of the modern-day Pashtuns. So they changed, come on, man. They changed the name now to Pashtuns, which was before just Afghan. Got it. So Afghan is derived from his name, although historical records dispute this, as the earliest mention of the word Afghan is by Shapur I of the Sassanid Empire during the 3rd century CE in documents found in northern Afghanistan. So that's something to dig on to get more drop on this Afghan, because now we got the Afghan in our crosshairs. We know we're talking Israel. Oh boy. And remember this Kish, right? Kish, whose name was changed to this Arab al-Rashid, right? Remember the Rashids, because that's another lane to recon. And that's how we got so far into Prester John 70, is because we take these clues and then we start connecting the dots, man. Or Sephirim, let's go. According to Tanakh, King Saul, also known as Talut in the Quran, was the son of Kish. Kish was the father of the first king of the Israelites, Saul. All right. So Kish is it. Did Kish make the deal? Did Kish make the deal with Muhammad? Ooh, and when is this happening, right? When is the Saul happening? Because this is actually good. This is good for us. You know why? Because we've been surfing this whole time about King David existing much more recent, which would mean that King Saul had to exist much more recent, right? If Genghis Khan is going to war with David in 1200s, 1100s, and the founding youth is playing. We got the Forbidden Histories of America by Daniel Lowe breaking down this Kalalus drop. Saul has to play in this, but you can now pinpoint Kish as Saul's pops. You can even look him up under TALUT and then start connecting, you know what I'm saying, what's going on with this more and more situation at the same damn time. Now, King Saul was the son of Kish, a member of the tribe of Benjamin, one of the 12 tribes of Israel. Saul married Ahinoam, daughter of Ahimaaz, and had 4 sons and 2 daughters. Now, who are the sons of Saul? The sons were Jonathan, Abinadab, Malkishua, and Ishbosheth. Saul's daughters were Merab and Michal. Pushtan folklore and some historians suggest that King Saul had 5 sons instead of 4. Yeah, so who's the 5th bond of King Saul? King Saul had 5 sons. Not just Jonathan, Abinadab, and Malkishua, and Ishbosheth, but the 5th was named Ermiah or Jeremiah. You know, rest in power to bro Nip, man. I think his name is Ermias or something like that. Ermias, but now you see this Ermias is Jeremiah. Shout out to bro Neighborhood Nipsey Hustle, man. Rest in power, man. You know, he's literally named after Ermiah or Jeremiah. Now, Afghan is the 5th bond of King Saul. The legend describes Malak Afghana or King Afghana as the son of Ermiah, Jeremiah, and the grandson of King Saul. So Malak Afghana, you know, that's another way that you can, you know, dig on this particular, you know, king or, high priest or whatever you want to call him that is still serving in the court of King Solomon even after David took him in. This name is mentioned in the form AFGHAN. That's another name to look him up. AFGHAN in the 3rd century CE by Sasanians, as well as AFGHANA, another name to look up, this AFGHAN, son of Jeremiah. It is mentioned that AFGHANA was orphaned at a young age and brought up by King David, because you remember Jeremiah, they said died around the same time as Saul, his dad. When Solomon became king, AFGHANA was made commander-in-chief of the army. AFGHANA was the chief of Solomon's army, man. What's it got to do with the Swan Knights and the Swan boats? Malak AFGHANA is also credited with the building of the first temple in Jerusalem. And this is so dope too. If you wonder, if Afghanistan is just over there in the Middle East, this is another way of connecting it, because you got the Swan Knights, the King Solomon, his boats, Solomon's fleet. They're clearly selling everywhere, going everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And maybe he found an area and set up shop in a place that they call Afghanistan today. Or, that's just a duplicate, name just to throw us off, on the maps today. Either way, Malak AFGHANA is real deal. And now that you see that this Afghanistan is named after a real person, AFGHANA, and this real person was raised in the house of David and was the commander-in-chief of Solomon's army, this shit ain't no joke. King David ain't no myth. And that's where, a lot of in the conscious community, a lot of, those type of, it's like this frequency of trying to tear down the house of Israel. They try to use the Israelite camps and do all the debates and stuff and try to prove this don't exist, that don't exist. But once we started searching for David, man, that stuff got quiet real quick, because you cannot play when it comes to King David. Whether you're looking at the Ethiopian history or whether tying it right back to the Prester, John. You know what I'm saying? So then you got the Afghan giving more receipts and more validation of King David, because he's serving in the house of David. And there's a whole spot called Afghanistan today, right? That they're covering up and lying, because they're not telling you that the Afghan flow is connected directly with the Khyber Kavaria flow. And you wouldn't know it's connected with the Khyber flow unless you knew about the Khyber Pass that's connected with the frontier of Afghanistan today. So this Khyber Pass that's connected to Afghanistan, that's, all about the tribe of Israel, is really right here in America. This wasn't no renaming of it. It's really right here, my naga, the Khyber Kavera. Khyber Kavera. Khyber. So not only do we got it out this $1,000 book that Jeremiah, Ermiah, son of Saul, has a son named AFGHANA. Damn, what's this got to do with Ghana? Oh, damn. Ping, pow. Oh, man, what's this got to do with Ghana in Africa, right? Africa, Ghana, Ghana. Hey, man, natural by law just broke down this Africa title, in correlation with the America, the America title, right? And said, you better choose up. Y'all better get in Natural by Law's classroom every Wednesday, 10 o'clock Pacific, exclusively at 432thedrop.com. Download the app. Download the app for free, my nugget, and surf the way. Yeah, Afghana secured a high position in the rule of King David. That's what we saying, right? But on the record, they don't tell you about Jeremiah having no child, especially not no Afghan. But this Malik Afghana is credited with building the first temple in Jerusalem, right? Because he's rocking with David and Solomon. Okay. Malik Afghana migrated to the place known as Solomon, right? He's rocking with Solomon, right? Yeah, and generations later, Qas Abdar Rashid, right? Remember the Rashid? Remember the Rashid? I told y'all to remember the Rashid, whose name was changed to Rashid by the Prophet Muhammad. Oh, he rewarded them. Muhammad rewarded them. How did he reward Kish, Saul's pops? The Jewish name Kish was changed by Muhammad to Arab Rashid, right? And Afghana migrated to Solomon, and later Abdul Rashid, a descendant of Afghana, embraced Islam. Okay. Okay. Is that the story? Do y'all believe it? According to the legend, after his death, he was buried in what is now Zalb Salaman Mountains, Suleiman Mountains. And I said, pay attention to how they spelling this stuff, because Suleiman, what's it got to do with David and all that? I mean, look how easy this is. Go back into Genie. Remember this guy here? I know it's a long title, but it's no different than the Exarch David. It's no different because he's married to the same queen, Tamar. Yeah. Rusadan, right? Queen of Georgia? Rusadan, Queen of Georgia, is only married to a Khan, right? A Khan. We're back to the Bragantoni dynasty. Got it, got it. Daughter of David Sauslin. Right. So this Rusadan is the daughter of David, who is also Jadaron. Let's go, man. Or son of Jadaron. And Tamar, Queen of Georgia. Mother of David, the sixth king of Georgia. Hutan, Tamar. With a tangled web we weave. We're just talking about Solomon, right? He's married to Tamar. We're going to talk about Aqua Lady Hannah for the dismount too. But Exarch David, father of Hasdai, brother of Solomon, different Solomon or same Solomon? Now this one doesn't say who his wife is, right? So we have to go back into this one here, the king consort David. Same person, but they spell it with a T at the end. And his wife is Tamar, right? So David Sauslin, king consort of Georgia, right? Because he's, reigning in conjunction with his queen, who is literally taking the wheel, slicing and dicing, you know what I'm saying? She's groomed as this, you know what I'm saying? Back to these high Amazon queens, you know what I'm saying? I mean, shout out to the AFGHANs, Lady Dragons on the wall. The Shebas, my naga, the Presters and the Shebas rocking, right? So this David, son of Jadaron, Prester John, we got this before. This Jadaron's the same Prester John who has a son, David, and his wife is Tamar. Who else's wife is Tamar? This Muin al-Din Salimah, right? They call him a Mongol chancellor in the court of Seljuk, but he's the same David because his wife is still the same Tamar at the same time. And to prove it's the same one, we just clicked it. This Rusadan of Georgia, she's the daughter of the Rusadan of Georgia. Rusadan is her mama. And Rusadan is married to Jadaron or Prester John. Con. Rusadan, right, is married to Jadaron, daughter of David the Fourth. Same family. Same family. Old Lady Hannah, mother of Hannah, mother of Exarch David. She's the same Rusadan. The same Rusadan is married to Jadaron is now called Lady Hannah, right? Wife of Raja Chola. Now they give him a Chola title, and you still have the Jadaron or Prester John. Lady Hannah is the wifey, right? Also known as Rusada. Okay, let's go back. So, Malak Afghana, son of Jeremiah, he goes to this Solomon, right? They say he is buried near this Solomon Mountains. Anything to do with Solomon Islands? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But we know we got duplicates. Then you got this Rashid. In his old age, when he felt the time was near, asked his sons to bury him in the vicinity of the same thing, the Solomon Mountains, who they put in current Afghanistan and Pakistan. But I don't think so, knowing that Khyber and all that, is right here in Kavera, not Afghanistan, Khyber Pass, he comes into the frontier of Afghanistan. Nah, man. And if we're just talking Khyber or Khyber or Kavera, then that means, whatever mountains they're talking about must be over here, man. And what's up with this Rashid, right? Because this was the Kish tribe. Now they became the Rashid tribe. Got it. Now they're the Rashid tribe. We got to dodge the timelines. We're going to get a piece of this chronology too for the dismount. But, are we talking about the weeping prophet, Jeremiah? Is this same weeping prophet the son of Saul? They'll tell us, hey, don't jump to conclusions. Don't jump to conclusions. I don't know, my nog. I think this time gap is starting to get crunched together a little bit. Which Jeremiah is it anyway? Which Jeremiah? All right, we got, this Jeremiah is a major prophet, you know what I'm saying? So, we're just getting some basics, you know what I mean? According to the Jewish tradition, Jeremiah authored the book of Jeremiah, the book of Kings, book of Lamentations, So the Book of Kings got all that, First King, Second King, connected with the Samuel flow. And we're going to, also get a connection with the Samuel. Because some scholars say that, this Samuel is being confused with Shaul as well. You know what I'm saying? That this Saul and this Samuel. Well, let's go. Let's see if it comes out. So we got the major prophet Jeremiah as the scribe of the, First King. All this got the David flow, right? All this got the David flow, right? And Jeremiah also mentions this David that's coming back, right? Yeah. Hey, love to the fam, man. We're talking to Zedeki's, man, the Melchizedek, right? The Zedek. Yeah, we're talking priest kings, man. We're talking spiritual superheroes, man. Just right quick, though. Let's get Jeremiah 30. Now that we see this connection with Jeremiah, son of Saul, his son raised by King David. Is this why he got the authority to even speak on David? I mean, you got First Kings, Second Kings. This is that whole David flow, right? But Jeremiah, let's get it right quick. What does he say about Khan David in chapter 30? Verse 9. But they shall serve HaWah, their power, and David their king, whom I will raise up to them, right? Hosea 3 says you're going to seek HaWah and David. Jeremiah 30 verse 9 says you're going to serve HaWah and David. Then says, whom I will raise up unto them. I mean, get the drop, because we're talking about the end of days. I will break his yoke from off your neck. I will burst your bands. You ain't going to be no slave. At the end of days is David being raised up, man. That's why Jeremiah has to even, the connection, the connectivity to even speak on it, man, because there's a strong connection with the house of Saul and King David. Jonathan is his brother. He can speak on this. AFGHAN is raised by David, and David is being raised up at the end of days. Jeremiah is over here, giving you the drop. Okay. This is why we seek HaWah and David, right? He's being raised up, right? So this high prophet Jeremiah, let's go. He was in prison, all these things, right? So, everyone, even Islam regards him as a prophet. Everyone's giving him respect for some reason. I'm just belly flopping now. Here's the interesting thing when we talk about Jeremiah as the son of Saul, is that, in the biblical, genealogy, he's the son of Hilkiah, the Cohen, which is the Khan, right? So he's the son of the Khan. They call him a Jewish priest. From the Benjamite village. So, come on, man. Either he's the son of Saul the Benjamite, or the son of Hilkiah the Benjamite. But they're both Benjamites? I mean, it's getting too, he could be from any tribe, but they're not telling us Saul had a fifth child and he's a Benjamite. What does Saul have to do with Hilkiah? And are we finding them slipping in the timeline? The difficulties he encountered, as described in the books of Jeremiah and Lamentations, have prompted scholars to refer to him as the weeping prophets. All right. So he told them put their idols down. You know what I'm saying? Go get the drop. Go get the drop. So this priest Pashur had Jeremiah beaten and put in the stocks at the upper gate of Benjamin for a day. At this, Jeremiah laments the travails and mockery that speaking HaWah's word have caused him. He recounts how if he tries to shut HaWah's word inside, it burns in his heart. He's unable to hold it. I mean, don't you feel like that when you got some drop to drop? You can't hold it in. You try to do other things, but it's just all happening. According to the book of Jeremiah, during the reign of King Zedekiah, the Lord, HaWah, instructs Jeremiah to make a yoke with the message that the nation would be subject to the king of Babylon. Right, the king of Babylon. So now you got these figures popping up in this Babylonian situation. And this, sister right here is the wife of Raja Hiraja Chola Jadaran, Emperor of Soli Prester John. Right? He's the father of another David, Exarch David VI, Sultan of Babylon in Georgia. Now Babylon's playing heavy with this David. Why? Because Jeremiah is sending out the warning that they're all going to be subject to the king of Babylon. So they became exarchs, which are rulers during this captivity of the tribe. The prophet Hananiah, Hanan, Aniah, took the yoke off Jeremiah's neck and broke it, prophesying that within 2 years HaWah would break the yoke of the king of Babylon. But Jeremiah prophesied in return, you have broken the yoke of wood, but you have made instead a yoke of iron. Yeah, Babylon. So we see Babylon come to life just like we seeing when we look at these genealogies, man. At least what they're giving us, at least what they're giving us, man. And I like digging on these different, religious views or whatever the case, because you always get a little more drop, when you take your time with it. Jeremiah and Moses are often mentioned together in Jewish rabbinic literature, their life and works being presented in parallel lines. Parallel lines. What? What's the parallel? Let's go. The following ancient midrash is especially interesting in connection with Deuteronomy 18:18, in which a prophet like Moses is promised. As Moses was a prophet for 40 years, so was Jeremiah. As Moses prophesied concerning Judah and Benjamin, so did Jeremiah. As Moses' own tribe. Oh, man. As Moses' own tribe, the Levites under Korah, rose up against him, so did Jeremiah's tribe revolt against him. Moses was cast into the water, Jeremiah was cast into the pit. As Moses was saved by a slave, Pharaoh's daughter, the slave of Pharaoh's daughter, so Jeremiah was rescued by a slave, Ebed-Melech. Moses reprimanded the people in discourses, so did Jeremiah. The prophet Ezekiel was a son of Jeremiah according to rabbinic literature. Did you know that? I mean, how would you? Because when you look at the genealogies of Jeremiah, they don't go far at all, do they? Jeremiah's family tree says no wife or children, so how would you connect Ezekiel over here, man? You know? Come on, man. The prophet Ezekiel was the son of Jeremiah. So was AFGHAN, though. Uh-oh. Ezekiel whirlwind. Didn't he have that dragon fire, that Ezekiel whirlwind of fire? Chariot of fire? We're talking Prester flow, right? Yeah. In Second Maccabees, the subject is credited with hiding the ark. The son of Jeremiah, or Jeremiah, hid the ark, incense altar and tabernacle in the mountain of Moshe. In the mountain or on the mountain. Okay. And they got a lot of different ways to spell Jeremiah. Yermia, Armia, Ermia. I'm just making sure I'm not missing something here because I'm about to go into a beautiful dismount for my Nagas. And it's a lot of drop in here, man. A lot of drop. You got the name Jeremy, obviously connected with Jeremiah. Hmm. 7th century BCE seal of Jehukal, son of Shelemiah, and another Gedaliah, son of Pashur, were found during excavation by Eliot Mazar in the city of David, Jerusalem, 2005. Okay. So you see so many threads, man, coming through this Jeremiah situation, whether you're talking about Ezekiel, whether you're talking about Saul, the house of David, and definitely this Islam flow is definitely flowing through it. You know what I'm saying? So you see that there's got to be a recent flow. And yeah, I mean, that $1,000 book is giving us that 17th century flow, right? We're getting that 17th century flow over here with this Afghan, the rulers of Afghanistan are the descendants of the ancient Israelites, right? Okay. Still talking Benjamin? Got it. Let's go. RASHID, right? So the name was changed to RASHID. This Kish is a transliteration of two male given names, all right? Both mean rightly guided. So even when the name RASHID was attributed to Kish, his Jewish name Kish was changed to Arab al-Rashid. This Rashid name just means rightly guided or having the true faith. Then they say, oh, that's one of 99 names of Allah. Oh, okay. Or we just talking about having the true faith. It also means the high one. So why would this Muhammad change Kish, Saul's dad, and the tribe to the name of RASHID, to the name of the true faith? Are they mocking them, saying that, yeah, now you got the true faith? Or are they telling them, yeah, you're connected with the true faith? The city was named after Kabul. I'm just jumping in here for you, man. Because when we talk about Afghanistan, just absolute certain body bags, you know what I'm saying? When you talk about these Hindu Kush, King David of the Hindu Kush, man, did we get some drop on that? Oh. Man, love to blacks, Dragon Society.pdf. What did we learn about David over here, man? Okay, we're back in the Zedek flow, this Melchizedek flow. Melchizedek is thus both king and peace. His name means king of justice. He's also the king of Salam, Jerusalem, that is of peace. So again, we find justice and peace, the fundamental attributes pertaining to the Lord of the world. Clearly, the foundation stone of the world is the same as the black or hidden sun in the center of the earth, or the grail stone, which is said to be hidden in that location. The Grail romances provide us with much insight into the king of the world concept. He is represented in the story by one of the supporting characters, Prester John, a king who is mentioned in passing as ruling over a spiritual domain in the faraway east, right? And who quite fittingly is said to come from Davidic descent. So we're not stretching anything to connect Prester John with the house of David. But let's keep going. Back to this Tracticus Paul Karamis, referring to him as the King of Kings or the Rex Negus. He combines spiritual authority with regal power, yet essentially Prester John is only a title and name, which designates not a given individual, but rather a function. And make sure you go hit up Templar and read to learn more about the connection with the function. You will get on this tutorial. I wanted to do it on 71, but it might be 72, 73, you know what I'm saying? We out of here, baby. Let's go for the dismount, man. So what did he say about David? Let's get it right here. So this function, again, we find Prester John as a title, the Grail, Wolfram von Eschenbach, right? He has this tutorial. It's all about the romances, connecting with the Grail. As we will see, indicates from time to time the person who must become Prester John. So from time to time, a person must become Prester John. Moreover, in the legend, Prester John designates one who keeps in check the people of Gog and Magog, exercises visible and invisible dominion, figuratively dominion over both the natural and invisible beings, and who defends the access, the portals, the vortexes, Why is he right here, though? Why is he in the Four Corners, Arizona, Grand Canyon? What's going on? Why is he in India Superior? Why is the Prester here? And who defends the access of his kingdom with lions and giants and dragons? Let's go. In this kingdom is also found the fountain of youth. The dignity of the sacred king is often accompanied by biblical reminiscences by presenting Prester John as the son or nephew of King David, and sometimes as King David himself, David, king of the Hindus. Boss. What's he got to do with the Hindu Kush? David, king of the Hindus, is also called by the people Prester John. The king, Prester John, descends from the son of King David, or like they just said, is King David himself. David, king of the so-called Hindus, right? What does David have to do with the Hindu? The Hindu Kush, the Cabal. Cabal, Pashto, which used to be Afghan, right, is the capital and largest city of Afghanistan. Hindu Kush, right? David, king of the Hindus, called Prester John. Hindu Kush, right? King of the Hindus. Come. Kabul is the capital of Afghanistan, but what is Kabul? What is Kabul? Kabul, Missouri? Uh-oh. Are we talking Afghanistan? The capital of Afghanistan? I said, man, let there be a cabal in America, and it's a body bag, and we out of here, baby. Yes, there's a cabal, and yes, they say cabal, Kabul. Back to the Afghanistan flow. They say don't confuse it, though. Why would they even have to tell us that? Unless they, wanted to throw us off our investigation. Why tell us that? Names sound the same all the time. Like they never don't confuse that with Cabal is a city in Texas County, Texas County, Missouri. But let's get more on this Cabal. Kabul. Etymologies. All right. The city was named after Kabul, Afghanistan. They said don't confuse it with Kabul, Afghanistan. But now you're saying it was named after Kabul, Afghanistan, right? So which came first? Let's go. Using an older English spelling of the name, 1882. The British Army had just withdrawn from Kabul at the end of the Second Anglo-Afghan War. Now we could look at the Anglo-Afghan War and know that the Afghan is who? Son of Jeremiah, of the house of David, because that's who he was serving. And Suleiman. As local legend goes, one of the construction engineers who built the railroad through Kabul also worked on railroad construction in Afghanistan. Come on, man. Y'all better get out of here with this, man. All this connection between Afghanistan. Oh, now you got this same damn railroad engineer that worked the railroad in Afghanistan, also worked the railroad in Missouri, man. Or is cabal the same cabal? But they had to make a story up that they had the same construction engineer who built the railroad in Kabul, also built the railroad in Afghanistan, and thought this area, listen up, my naga, for the dismount, man. Thought this area of southern Texas looked similar to the region of Kabul. Fuck, man. I'm out of here, man. So not only was he the same engineer that worked, as legend goes, as local legend goes, one of the construction engineers working this Kabul in Missouri also worked in Afghanistan. He saw this Texas county and said, "This looks a lot like Afghanistan." It looks similar to the region of Kabul, Afghanistan. Prior to being called Kabul, the community was called Cedar Bluff. It remained the only Kabul in the United States. It remains the only Kabul in the United States of America, or Afghanistan, or Afghan. Because Israel is Israel, right? If you know this is the real Jerusalem, then you know that this must be the real Afghan. And this Missouri cabal must be the real Afghanistan. Old legends claim that Cabal was named after the, listen up, Indian chief who lived there. So whereas before they said they had no idea where the name Cabal came from, Anaga, Cabal, right? And they spell it like this too, Cabol. That's how it's spelled in America. Cabal was known by different names throughout history. Its meaning is unknown. Its meaning is unknown. But here it says old legend claims that Cabal was named after the Indian chief who lived there, whose name was Chief Cabal. But look, they spelled it right, just like it's spelled in Afghanistan. Right, so suddenly this chief has the same Kabul, pronounced Kabul. The story continues with the narrative that Chief Kabul and his sweetheart jumped into the onyx pool together to their deaths off Cedar Bluff at Kabul, as their parents disapproved of their relationship. This legend was depicted in the 1903 poem Legend of Kabul, written by Tug Wilson and Ben Darnell. So they turned this chief into some love crazy suicide artist that just jumped for love, right? Or was he at war? Or what? Or were they at war? But they don't want to tell you about the war. They just made it a love story. They turn it into a romance. But the romance has everything to do with a hero, a knight, love to the Templar. Chief Cabal is a person. But when you look up Cabal, Afghanistan, they don't tell you that, right? But you got this Hindu Kush connection. And you got David, king of the Hindus, called Prester John. But when we keep reading in this Cabal, maybe they'll give us something. Let's see. Cabal, all right. Its meaning unknown to them, right? They're not saying Indian chief yet. It certainly predates the advent of Islam. So Man, we get out the $1,000 book that this Islam situation is popping out. The birth of Islam, right? The advent of Islam, the breakup of the empire. He's connected to the 1600s, the 17th century. We look up Cabal, and it predates the advent of Islam, but they still don't know why. They still don't know who it is, right? Let's keep reading. And when it was an important center of the route between India and the Hellenic world or Greek world. Which India, right? We're talking India Superior. We're talking the Superior India. India Superior, where Prester John is. America, India Superior. Let's go. It was an important center on the route between India and the rest of the world. Okay. In Sanskrit, it is known as Cuba. I'm out of here, babe. Ping pow. So Cube Ha, now spelled Cuba, is really Kubha. Ha. Cuba. Is that named after the same cabal, right? This chief. Whereas Greek authors of ancient classical antiquity refer to it as Kothin or Kophis or Koa. So these are all names to connect the cabal. All right. The name Cabal was first applied to the Kabul River before being applied to the area situated between Hindu Kush, right? Back to that David flow, and Sindh, Sindh, which is now Pakistan. As you see, it gets, more and more fun, my nugget. Like, this stuff starts connecting like cray. According to the legend, one could find a lake, Cabal, in the middle of which the so-called Island of Happiness. So now we know we're talking America. Where's the Island of Happiness? Where a joyous family of musicians live. According to the same legend, the island became accessible by the order of a king through the construction of a bridge made of straw. According to this legend, the name Cabal was thus formed as a result of these words together. Kabul. All right. You know. Oh man, for the dismount, it remains unknown where the name Cabal was first applied to the city or when it was first applied. However, the Oxford Encyclopedia of Modern World notes that it became into prominence following the destruction of Kapisa and the other cities in what is present-day Afghanistan by Genghis Khan in the 13th century. What's this got to do with the invasion of the Prester? I said the Prester. That this cabal had his whole name changed right at this time of the invasion of the Prester by Genghis Khan, which invaded India's superior Managa. And now the cabal, it remains unknown. So they, now are saying that it came into prominence after the destruction of Kapisa and other cities in what is present day Afghanistan. So, that's a very important piece. We might not know exactly how that connects, but we know it has to connect. I mean, since the origin of Cabal, who built it and when is largely unknown, the Hindu Rig Veda, composed in 1500, 1200 BCE, Ijah, and one of the four canonical texts of Hinduism, and the Avesta, the primary canon of the text Zoroastrianism, refer to Cabal River and to a settlement called Kuba. Rigveda refers to Cuba as an ideal city and a vision of paradise set in the mountains. Oh, Cuba. Oh, Cuba. Oh, Cabal. Chief Cabal. We're just talking Texas, Missouri, Cabal, Chief Cabal. Who is Chief Cabal? And what does he have to do with the Afghan? Why is he connected with the Afghan? Is he a Benjamite? You know he got to be an Israelite. You know he got to be Israel. That's just an alley-oop at this point. Cabal Valley was part of the Median Empire. Median Empire was annexed by Cyrus the Great, and Cabal became the Achaemenid, the Achaemenid Empire. During that period, Cabal became a center of learning for Zoroastrianism, followed by Buddhism. An inscription on Darius the Great's tombstone lists Cabal as one of the 29 cities of the Achaemenid Empire. Then you got this connection with Alexander the Great again. Oh, the Scythians come up. Oh, man. So I'm going to leave this link, you know what I'm saying? Let me know what connections you making with this Cabal business. Because you know, we got to make a connection. Oh, man. A lot of good drop there. But yeah, the etymologies are letting you know what's up. Because this right here leads you right to Missouri, man. Right to Chief Cabal in Missouri, man. Having the true faith these RASHIDs are now. Yeah, they said there's a legend of Cabal. Just to get a couple lines out of this, on the banks of the crystal Piney, close behind the onyx pool, queen of all surrounding country, stands the famed town, Kabul. Wouldst thou know the mystic story that enshrouds his shining name? Gaze on yonder sparkling water, see reflected Cabal's fame. Tahasi was an Indian maid, fair and graceful, pure and mild, daughter of the fierce Pomona, half a woman, half a child. Blithe and gay with rippling laughter, lived this maid of savage home, wooed by many an Indian warrior. By herself she loved to roam. Past her father's realm of forest lived a chieftain brave and cool, ruler of almighty waters, reigned the gallant chief Kabul, king of all athletic sportsmen, winner in the longest chase, victor over mighty foemen, most beloved of all his race. Who is this guy, man? Who is this chief, man? Comes one day this giant chieftain, followed by his warriors bold, on Pomona's sacred acres, hunting deer and elk untold. There he spied the fair Tahasi, roving wild among the flowers. There they promised love forever. There they spent the happiest hours. Watchful eyes this pair discovered as they walk at lover's pace, discovered too the tired hunters resting after the long chase. In Pomona's camp at midnight, wild commotion, startled cries, word is brought by breathless runner, with Cabal Tahasi flies. Loud and wild, but Pomona rages arms, he and his eager braves. Rush they out with savage vengeance, silently surrounding the caves. In sheltered cave Cabal Tahasi hear the din of battle roar. Start they up, are met by foemen, ne'er to dream of pleasure more. Quickly one hand grasps his weapon, one arm round Tahasi's waist, and again Pomona's minions, the bold chieftain set his face. Mighty blows he struck about him, swift and fast he backward goes, backwards towards the bluff of cedar, while the ground with crimson flows. So I asked you, was this them jumping to their death because of the love that they couldn't share, like Romeo and Juliet? Or were they at war? Was this a battle cry, my Naga, of the Naga in America? Till upon the ledge of granite, towering far above the pool, striking down a score of warriors, fights the lover, Chief Kabul. Wouldst thou save thyself to Hassi? Would thou to go further? Would thou to thy farther go? Father go? What, go leave thee and thou perish? No, brave chief, I pray thee, no. Clasp her then to panting bosom, backward reeling for want of breath, headlong from the highest level, plunge these lovers to their death. Like I said in Black Panther, some rather leap to their death, than to choose slavery or, to be tormented and tortured. This ain't the first chief we hear about, or, the first warriors we hear about, taking that leap instead of, being in that position, what I'm saying, to die a treacherous death. We don't know. Pilgrims from all lands and nations pause and gaze upon this pool and recall the mystic legend of Tallahassee and Kabul. Halal HaWah. Get the drop. They're talking about how Kabul got his name. Two English brothers surveyed the railroad. One of the brothers served in the English military forces in Kabul, Afghanistan. Yeah. Oh, this place greatly resembled that of Afghanistan, so I'm just gonna call it Kabul. But there happens to be this Indian chief named Kabul, and Cuba. Oh, you got Pocahontas near Kabul. Oh, okay. Yeah, beautiful thing. And do you think it's play? Not only is there a hometown, Missouri, named after the same Afghanistan, but there's a chief connected to all this as well. And, I think it's all coming clear. And I'll leave this link for you about this Khyber drop. Many of us have heard of Pashtuns people living in Afghanistan, northwest Pakistan, or Khyber, Kavaria. Some of them living in Iran. Their population around the world is over 49 million. Pashtuns also defended themselves with great invaders such as Kushans, Mongols, and other empires. Pashtuns have a legendary ancestry, which most of us do not know. They are the descendants of Khas, Abdar, Rashid, or Kish. Yeah, man. Upon hearing the message of Islam, he sent him to Medina to check out the message. He went to Prophet and embraced Islam. The Prophet gave him a new name, Abdur Rashid. He then introduced Islam to his tribe. And that's their story, and they're sticking to it. According to the Mount Stewart Elephant Stone, it was Khalid bin Walid who introduced Prophet to him. Some historians related Afghans of Gur to be Jews, and they knew the concept of one God and the coming of the last Prophet Muhammad. Come on, man. Dodge your own damn hijack. Dodge your own damn hijack. Now check this out. You got the Kish, another family tree, flowing. Now it says Ben Isa Yahushua, right? So you got Saul here, who's the son of Kish. I'm trying to see how they're connecting. Saul, they got so many different names and titles. All right, you got AFGHAN over here. I'm not sure how to read their timeline, but I'm gonna leave it for you so you can dig on in and do some comparison. Unless we're talking over here. AFGHAN ben Cush, son of Saul, son of Jeremiah. Now Eleazar is also called Azariel. Interesting, huh? I mean, some fun stuff for you to dig on. Thus, Qais Abdir Rashid was a 37th descendant of King Saul, Talut, Malak, Avghana, and also the part of the lineage. He was the legendary person that belonged to the Davidic line. It is said that the name Afghanistan or Afghan is derived from his name, back to the son of Jeremiah, son of Saul, son of Kish, son of Abiel. Almost sound like Abel, right? Abiel belonged to the 12th Jewish tribe, the tribe of Benjamin. Benjamin was the son of the prophet Yaakov. Okay. Alternatively, the Pashtuns have the same origin as the Jews. I wonder why. Saul was the predecessor of the prophet David. They put him in the 1079 BC timeline. And they did add over 1,800 years and something. Remember the 3 chronological time shifts we'll get for the dismount as well. 333 years, right? 1,053 years and 1,776 years. So when you put that back on your timeline, let's say you added that to this, just 1,012 or whatever, you added 1,800 years to that, you're back in the ADs, right around this 700, 800 situation. Now connecting you with this Kalelus, 775, Nehemiah, Theodora reconquers America, all that stuff, right? So back to the Solomons and back to the Davids, back to the Ogiers. But now you're factoring in the Swan Knights. The Afghans historians believe that Saul had 5 sons. The 5th was Jeremiah. Oh, not to be confused. They like saying that, right? Not to be confused with the same guy who was born, way, later. This is a 400 years after Saul, so it couldn't be the same guy. It's a 400-year gap. Hey, what did we learn about this chronologies, man? What did we learn about this 400-year gap? I just said that there's 3 major chronological time shifts. Not that there's 3 only, but 3 major. One of them is at least 300 years, man. So this 400-year gap is out of here based on the recon of Anatoly Fomenko and the reign of the prophet Solomon. He was made the commander-in-chief of the army. Right. Okay. Solomon, right? Suleiman Khan. Suleiman, husband of Tamar, Exarch David, who's also the husband of Tamar. Got it. Husband of Tamar, Exarch David Sauslin, right? Husband of Tamar. one and the same. This is also David. And the Solomon title, goes way back before King Solomon. And the David title goes way back before the David And, it's a title, it's a flow. It's a title, it's a flow. Here we go, here we go. Kabul. Oh, Hannah. Yeah, see, when you dig on Jeremiah, this period spanned the reigns of 5 kings of Judah: Josiah, Jehoahaz, Jehoiakim, Jehoiakim, Zedekiah. The prophetess, love to my lady, dragons on the wall. The prophetess Huldah. A lot of us ain't heard of Huldah before, right? Now she's mentioned in 2 Kings and 2 Chronicles. Remember, Jeremiah wrote the Kings, right? Okay, was a relative and contemporary of Jeremiah, while the prophet Zephaniah was his mentor. And then back to him being born of Hilkiah, or is it Saul, the Khan and Benjamite, all the same attributes. Whether it's Saul or Hilkiah, he's still talking about a Khan and a Benjamite, right? Now this prophet is Huldah. When you click on Huldah, just get a little more drop on it for my lady dragons on the wall. Check this out. Huldah, prophet, all right. According to tradition, she was one of the 7 prophetesses. See, it's a balance. You can't have, when we talk Jeremiah, it's going to lead you to the prophetesses. When you talk David, it's going to lead you to the Lady Hannah's, Lady Rusadon's, you know what I'm saying? All that flow. So our queens tomorrow, like they keep getting brought back in a conversation. We're not going nowhere without our sisters, you know what I'm saying? We know, you know what I'm saying, that we have a connection in the flow that goes hand in hand, that's created to flow as one. Same thing that Ha flows with our Wah, the framer shaper, the same image of our creator, our framer shaper, is the same as our house. You know what I'm saying? So when you're digging on the priest king, you're going to have to dig on the lady dragons on the wall as well. The priest queens, the prophetesses, the female cons, right? Hey, Tamar, they called her king. You dig? So let's go. Now, she was one of the 7 prophetesses with Sarah. Hey, shout out to the lady dragons: Sarah, Miriam, Deborah, Hannah, Abigail. That's David's wife, right? That's what she had. She had Daniel, Gilead, and Esther. And I said Hannah because we keep talking about this lady Hannah, who's the wife of Prester John. Also Rusadon. Hey, it could be something, it could be nothing. I'm just saying, isn't it interesting? At least. I mean, at the very, very least. At the very least, that one of these 7 prophetesses, they say, is Hannah or Anna. So in the Gospels, right, in the New Test, they got another duplicate of Hannah, and they just call her Anna the prophetess. But you don't even connect Hannah, the prophetess, and you really don't even know how deep Hannah go as the mother of Solomon, mother of Hanan, mother of Exlarch David, wife of Raja, Prester John. Yeah. Lady Hannah go deep in the connection with one of the 7 prophetesses, and they're duplicating her into Anna, right, in the New Testament. Phantoms and duplication. And there's another duplication in Maccabees of this, martyr, woman that was killed with her sons. And that's a deep story, in the frying pans. And because they wouldn't eat the swine, they were thrown into frying pans. Woman with 7 sons. Any connection? We are talking about the exilarchs and the captivity. Now, since the narrative of Hannah can be found in 1 Samuel, why Samuel, huh? Let's go. Outside the first 2 chapters of 1 Samuel, she is never mentioned. Elkanah had 2 wives. The name of his one was Hannah, and the name of the other was Peninnah, or Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. So, same type of story that's reflected. They say, they Sarah, Rebecca, different flows of this barren, good wife that has her womb closed by the Creator at first, but then her womb is open because of her faith, and that type of story. But let's go. Hannah's status as primary wife and her barrenness recalls Sarah and Rebecca in Genesis 17 and 25. Every year, Elkanah would offer a sacrifice at the Shiloh sanctuary and give Peninnah and her children a portion, and he gave Hannah a double portion because he loved her, and HaWah had closed her womb. One day Hannah went up to the tabernacle, prayed with a great weeping, while Eli, the high priest, was sitting on a chair near the doorpost. In her prayer, she asked HaWah for a son, and in return, she vowed to give the son back to HaWah for the service of HaWah. She said he gonna keep the code, you know what I'm saying? And Eli thought she was drunk and questioned her. But when she explained herself, he blessed her and sent her home. Hannah conceived and bore a son and named him Samuel, literally heard by HaWah. So this Hannah is the mother of Samuel the prophet, the same prophet that anoints King David. Come on, man. And this Hannah is the wife of Prester John, who's the mother of another David and Solomon and Hannah or Ania. Let's go, man. I mean, it's getting too good for the dismount. Too good for the dismount. Now look at this other reflection right here. Hannah is also considered to be a prophetess. In her song of thanksgiving, she's inspired to discern in her own individual experience the universal laws of the divine economy and to recognize its significance for the whole course of the kingdom of HaWah. The psalm may be compared, right, duplication, to the magnificent Mary's song of thanksgiving. So Mary got a song in the New Testament of thanksgiving, just like Lady Hannah, the prophetess. Come on, man. They both got songs of Thanksgiving. You know, Miriam is another one of them prophetesses, right? Some duplications. Yeah, they resemble lies and thought and tone more than actual language, and supplies a most delicate, valuable testimony to the appropriateness of this hymn to Hannah's circumstances. What else do we learn about this Hannah, and what does Samuel have to do with Saul for the dismount? You thought this was play, Dylan? Digging on Hannah this whole time? You thought this was play? Or when we talk Hannah, just like when we talk Hannah, oh boy, we're talking prophetess. Not only that, you're talking about the mother of Samuel or the mother of Saul. Uh-oh, boss. Were we even ready for this? This is Prester John 70. The greatest dismount of all time. Let's go. The Hebrew form. This is, man, look, listen up. You know, is it something or is it nothing? The Hebrew form of the name Saul is Shaul, and the story of Samuel's birth contains repeated uses the related verb or verbal root shal, sh, what's that, a hyphen, l, in various forms included in the verse in which Hannah explains her son's name. In verse 28, the form Shaul, lent, quote unquote, lent itself is found. Shaul itself is found. Oh boy. Hannah's son's name, the form Shaul itself is found. I'm gonna get my tea. I'm out of here, man. Hey, look, man. I don't know. Look. So, is it Samuel or is it Shaul? Because when Hannah explains her son's name in verse 28, Shaul is found, identical to the Hebrew name of Saul. As a result, it has been suggested by critical commentators like Drop Nation. Yeah, we're critical commentators. The story was originally about the birth of Saul, but that the name of Samuel was substituted for Saul at a later date. Yeah, say it with me. Body bag for the illusion. Oh, this is this will bake your noodle. This will bake your noodle bone. Is Hannah the mother of Saul? Well, this Hannah is the mother of ex-Lark David and Solomon, Jewish king of Telmas, Hanan. Any of those connected with this Samuel or this Saul flow? I don't know. But that's very noodle baking material, right? Now, they said Saul's father was Kish. And if Hannah is the mother of Saul and his father is Kish, then that would make her the wife of Kish. Okay. Wait, who's Kish? Who's Kish whose name was changed to Rashid, right? And is it Hilkiah as the father of Jeremiah? Or is it a Saul? What does Hilkiah got to do with Saul? I know this says a 400-year gap, you know, but we're going to, You have to surf the wave when you know they added over 1,000 years to your timeline. In some cases, over 1,800 years. Some cases, less than 300, a little more than 400. I mean, they were all over the place. So, Hilkiah, my portion is Yah or Wah. Let's go. Hebrew priest, Khan, time of King Josiah. His name is mentioned in 2 Kings. He was the high priest. Is known for finding a lost copy of the book of the law in the temple of Jerusalem at the time of King Josiah. That the temple be refurbished. His preaching may have helped spur Josiah to return Judah to the worship of HaWah. Got it. Hilkiah may have been the same Hilkiah who was the father of Jeremiah of Libnah. Maybe, right? So they don't really know. Okay, that's good to know. As such, he would have lived in Anathoth. Anathoth? How about this Thoth business? In the land of Benjamin, and was the father of an influential family in the kingdom of Judah. Yeah. Father of Azariah, and by the seal reading, Hanan, son of Hilkiah the priest. Come on, man. For the dismount, man. I told y'all it's the greatest dismount of all time. Hilkiah's attested in extra biblical sources. We got to go outside of their canonized. All right, by the clay bulla naming a Hilkiah as the father of an Azariah. And by the seal reading, Hanan, son of Hilkiah the priest. Hanan, my naga? Who's Hanan? We just said Lady Hannah, right? Possibly, right? We're investigating. Get out of our way. We're just investigating. Once we say we're on investigation, you ain't got to try to prove us right or wrong. We haven't proved ourselves right. We're investigating. We don't care if you prove us right or wrong. We don't care if you agree with our investigation. It's an investigation. Get out of our way. We're searching for HaWah, KTC, and King Dawid. This is the wife of King Dawid and a mother of another David, because a Prester is a David. This Hannah has a son named Hanan. Hanaga, who we also see with a C in front or a K in front, like Canaan. That's why we said choose your Canaan, because there's another Canaan floating around here in between the timelines. What timelines? You got to dig on Anatoly for the mango. Hanan could also be Anan, like Anan bin David, or Anan, like, I don't know, Ania. Are we talking the Hanan kingdom, son of David, son of Prester John? And would the son of Prester John be holding down the same region that Prester John is shown as holding down in the British Museum in 1530? The same region. Prester has a son named Hanan. Hanan is the son of Raja Hiraja Chola II Jadaran, Emperor of Soli, Prester John the Pandya. Prester John, holding down Ania. Prester John has a son named Hanan, and Hanan might be Anan, which is holding down the same exact territory of Ania or Kavera, right? Kavera, which is just Kavera from Khyber, Grand Kavera, the Khyber Pass. the Khyber Pass, the Khyber Pass in the Far East comes into the frontier of the Afghanistan of today. Or we're just talking about the Afghanistan of the old world, the Khyber of the old world. The Khyber is the Khyber, is the Heber of the old world, is the Eber of the old world, which they turned into Kivera or Kivera, and we said Antioch is right on top of Kivera, which would still be the Khyber Khyber situation that they've connected to Afghanistan, which is what got us asking who's Afghan. And now we know, son of Jeremiah, who was raised by King David. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Afghan secured a high position in the rule of King David and Suleiman, right? And a Suleiman who is the exact same person as Exarch David, married to the same Queen Tamar. Coincidence? Coincidence? Is Hannah the son of Samuel who anoints King David, or Saul, the predecessor of King David? Okay, to be continued, right? We're just talking Hannah or Ania or Kana. We're talking Hilkiah, who has a son, Hanan, Hanan, son of Hilkiah. Yeah. And if Lady Hannah is the mother of Hanan, and so is Hilkiah, okay. How does this Saul flow? How does this Rusadan flow? How does this Genghis Khan flow? Since we, have all that connected, especially with this Genghis Khan Kabul situation. And they say something down here that Cabal was first applied to the city. However, the Oxford Encyclopedia notes that it came into prominence following the destruction of this Kapisa, which is the capital city of the former kingdom of Kapisa, and other cities in what is present-day Afghanistan by Genghis Khan. So Genghis Khan came, and now everything got switched up, connected with this Kabul. How would we know that there's a Kabul, Missouri, that's connected with the chief Kabul, who has a whole poem written about him? You know what I mean? About this war that they were in, and eventually leaping off this, situation. And I mean, this same story has been coming to us in many different ways recently, man. If you've been surfing the wave, but who's Hanan, the son of Hilkiah? And is this the same Hanan, right? This king of Tehama, son of Prester John as well. Hmm? Who's Hilkiah? Is Hilkiah, a priest king, a Prester? For the dismount. Triple dismount, best dismount of all time. Miriam, right? Mary, right? In the New Testament is Miriam, right? And they try to connect her with this mother of Isa or Joshua, but which one? Oh yeah, oh yeah. Just digging on the summary, that they did of this says traditional Egyptian chronology places it as the 44th of what? What, the 44th surah. Now we're just talking about this Miriam. And they're trying to get this drop off of this Quran manuscript, the Sanaa manuscript. And they're trying to tie this together. You know, there's some notes to it. This story of Mary's miraculous conception. All right, birth of Jesus. Jesus. Mary in distress, comforted by JC. Mary brings her child to the people, who reproach her. JC vindicates his mother and describes his own prophetic character. JC, the word of truth. God has no son, God alone to be worshipped. So someone's trying to tell them not to put a power for their power, even in their Surah drop. Even in their Surah drop. All right, you got the book of the Quran, the story of Mary. She retired from her family to the place towards the east, took a veil to conceal herself from them, and we sent our spirit Gabriel unto her, and he appeared unto her in the shape of a perfect man. I don't know. I mean, so Mary in the New Testament, Immaculate Conception, you know, she's visited by the Creator, and then she has this child. Over here, she's visited by Gabriel in the shape of a perfect man, right? A perfect man, all right? Oh, man. She said, how can I have a son, seeing a man has not touched me? I have no harlot. Gabriel replied, so shall it be. Your power, your Creator said, this is easy with me and will perform it, that we may ordain him for a sign unto men and mercy from us, for it is a thing which is decreed. Wherefore she conceived him, and she retired and aside with him in her womb to a distant place. And the pains of childbirth came to her near the trunk of a palm tree. And she says, oh man, I wish I had died before this thing happened. And he who was beneath her called to her, saying, be not grieved, now has HaWah provided a stream under you. And do thou shake the body of the palm tree. So, and he who was beneath her called to her. So you got her infant child now just coming out prophesying, man. All right. And it shall let fall ripe dates upon thee readily gathered, and eat and drink and calm your mind. Moreover, if thou see any man, any questions, you say, verily, I have vowed a fast unto the merciful, wherefore I will by no means speak to a man this day. And she brought the child to her people, carrying him in her arms. But Naga, this ain't the JC story, right? And they said unto her, O Mary, as now thou have done a strange thing, sister of Aaron, sister of Aaron, sister of Aaron. We're talking Aaron and Moses. And we're saying Joshua was Joshua son of Nun, the son of Mary, Miriam. Did Gabriel have something to do with this? You know what I'm saying? Like, what popped off the situation between this JC or Joshua or Mary or Miriam? But she's called the sister of Aaron, and this ain't the New Testament. And she has this child, right? Thy father was not a bad man, neither was your mother a harlot. But she made signs unto the child to answer them, and they said, how shall we speak to him who is an infant? Is this baby talking? Is this baby Joshua talking? Not Jesus. Joshua talking. Yeshua, right? This is is this the Joshua son of? Because look, this is the daughter or the sister of Aaron. So Aaron and Moses rocks with Joshua. He lays his hand on Joshua. He passes his power to him at the very end. Why? Because that was his what? Nephew? Was Joshua really Moses' nephew through Miriam is the question. This is what the Quran is tying together. That's why it's good to have a dragonfly perspective, man. And they're confused. Some say the Virgin Mary really had a brother named Aaron. So now the Virgin Mary got to have a brother named Aaron. They got to figure this shit out. They got to figure this out. Who had the same father, different mother. Others suppose Aaron, the brother of Moses, is here meant, but say Mary is called his sister, either because she was of the Levitical race, all right, or by way of comparison. Others say that it was a different person and a different name who was contemporary with her and conspicuous for his good or bad qualities, and they liken her to him either by way of commendation or reproach. All right. Yeah, man. It's getting hot. It's getting hot in here, oh sister of Aaron. I mean, that's pretty much the body bag right there. This ain't no play. So you're dealing with nothing but phantoms and duplicates when you deal with the New Testament. Whether this story is true or false, we don't know, but we know that at least with these sirs, they're letting you know, like, nah, Mary is Miriam, and she's the one that had a child. She's the one that had this, child out of nowhere. But now they put, you know, they gave her someone to kick it with. They said Gabriel showed up in the shape of a perfect man. I can't make this stuff up, man. I can't make it up, man. I still want to dig on Amram in the future drops. We got to connect this Amram with this Rambam, who is this Moses Maimonides situation. And, this is the father of Moses here. In the timeline, it pops up another Moses who writes the code, just like Anam ben David, named Moses Maimonides, right? And there's a lot to connect, you know what I'm saying, when we connect this Amram. You know what I'm saying? Because Amram pops up in Genie as well. We could dig on this later. Amram, Jahon is John, like King or Wang of Surah, right? And don't go crazy with all these mirror titles, because we got the same thing here with this Murine or Murine situation, but we know we're just talking David still. So this Amram, very interesting. I mean, look, this Amram here is the father of Aaron, who they call Harun. This is Aaron. Aaron's dad is who? Aaron and Moses got the same pops. Is what? Amram, right? Amram has Moses and Aaron. This Amram they just list, oh no, they list Aaron. It's the same person. Looks like they just give us Aaron on this, man. You know what I mean? So we got to fill in the gaps some more. But it's an interesting connect here. This Amram, father of Aaron, son of Mar, Rob, Meshel, Sheshna, something like that. And what does this Amram have to do? Like I said, we got to connect the Amram, Moses' pop, with the Rambam, this Maimonides, who is a Moses, but he's coming in more of a decent time for our investigation. This is right in the wheelhouse of everybody else we've been digging on. Lady Hannah, before 1222, you know what I'm saying? this Soliman here between 1207, 1267. And look at this 1207 flow. So by the time you get to Rambam, he's right there in the same wheelhouse. And Genghis Khan again invaded Prester John in 1202. And they say he wrote the code. He wrote the code, this Rambam. The Sefer HaMitzvot. You know what I mean? So we got to dig on these, beautiful commandments again, negative, positive commandments, and how they break down some more. But really, what does Rambam, this Moshe flow, have to do with Amram? Is it play, or are they just playing with us one more time? And why is Moshe popping up in between the time? Which Moses? You can get this Moses here. You can go to get Moses the Black around the 300 range. You can go to the BCs, to that other Moses. How many Moseses are there? At least 3 or 4. We caught at least 3 or 4 Moseses slipping. Like I said, we got some great Joshua flow. Love to the family. I believe it's Dragon Child that dropped this one, man. I mean, y'all been dropping so much drop. You know what I mean? We definitely will pick up on it because there's so much drop on this link for next time as well. I mean, we in 70, man. You see 71, 72, 73 about to be litty in the city. We still got to talk to Toro, Parsifal. We still got to do our belly flop. Like I was hoping to do this time, just to sit back and just belly flop, Prester John 1 through, really now 1 through 70. We're going to do a belly flop, a couple of minutes from each one. Just go off, just enjoy the Prester John playlist that we got, you know what I'm saying? Click on our YouTube page and you'll see the playlist and just go to the Prester John playlist. We're going to belly flop that joint. But yeah, what's up with this Haran or Aaron? What's up with this Mongol Chancellor here? Huh? This Suleiman, my nugget. Is it all happening in between the timelines for the dismount, man? Hey, we just been surfing the wave in real time, in battle time, my nugget. Getting some of that zen for our flow. And as promised, I want to dig on this chronology, this Anatoly, this for the Manco, for the dismount, Prester John, installment number 70, man. I appreciate all my Nagas from the bottom of my heart bone that have contributed to all the energy and frequency and vibration throughout all the years to get to Prester John 70. Hey, man, I'm about to be, popping off with my little shorty, man. I'm about to, make a little baba. Y'all kick back with this chronology and just read the subtitles. Matter of fact, I'll kick it with you a little bit. Let's read some subtitles, man. A Lego. Oh, cool. Oh. Let's go back. I want to get this one piece right on the dot. All right, so look, man. This is Anatoly for the Manco. He's breaking it down to us, you know what I'm saying? He's letting us know the truth. This map contains tens of thousands of names, several thousands of dates, information about disturbances, the main books of the original sources. We're talking about the original. Информации о смутах, о главных книгах, о первоисточниках, о летописях. The chroniclers on their dating, the author chronicles, the author, the occurrences in astronomy, and so on. Об авторах летописей, о хронистах, об астрономах и тому подобное. Потом, к этому материалу были... Then this material was evaluated using the techniques developed by me and my colleagues for the Manco. Применены разработанные мною и моими коллегами методики, о которых я говорил вкратце. И я отметил на этой карте дубликаты. То есть те эпохи, которые... And I noted on this map where there were duplicates, that is, periods that were shown to be similar by these methods. Оказывались по этим методикам близкими, похожими, зависимыми.
Как это было сделано?
How was it done? Anatoly Fomenko divided the history of the world at certain points. Then every era's detail was displayed on the time axis.
Анатолий Фоменко разделил всю мировую историю на эпохи. Затем каждую эпоху подробно отобразил на оси времени. События, которые происходили одновременно в разных
periods which had similarities were moved to be simultaneous on the time scale.
государствах изображались друг над другом, чтобы показать, сколько в традиционной истории
To show how much overlap there is in the traditional chronology of the historical events, Fomenko assigned each time interval a letter.
существует повторов исторических событий, разным временным интервалам Фоменко присвоил разные буквы. Например, эпоха Второй Римской империи.
For example, the era of the Second Roman Empire was marked by the letter K. The same letter was used to mark its duplicates Fomenko had discovered.
Империя была обозначена буквой К. Этой же буквой были отмечены все ее дубликаты, которые Фоменко обнаружил с помощью своих методов. Другие исторические эпохи.
Other historical periods as well as the duplicates were identified by other letters, for example, C and P, and also marked on the map.
А также их дубликаты были обозначены другими буквами, например, S и P, и также были отмечены на карте. Так возникла структура.
So the structure emerges that shows both the time axis and repetitions, duplicates, phantoms of historical events. This map was named Global Chronological Map. Look it up.
Которая показывала, как на оси времени расположены повторы исторических событий. Эта карта получила название глобальной хронологической карты. Именно она показывает, какой должна быть истинная хронология.
That is, it shows what should be the true chronology of historical events. True chronology. Not the bullshit, not the fake, not Scaliger and Patavius, my nigga. Not Hijack City. True reality.
Хронология исторических событий. Стало очевидно, что в
It became apparent, listen up, that in traditional chronology there are three major time shifts by approximately 300, 1,000 years, and 1800. So if they gave us a 400-year gap between Hilkiah and Saul and say, oh, well, they have to be different Jeremiahs, or there's three major time shifts.
традиционной истории существует три основных временных сдвига.
That means you can look back on something that says 1000 BC and you can add 1800 years to it and you'll get back in the ADs real fast.
Примерно на 300, 1000
Fomenko!
и 1800 лет. И многие реальные исторические события Средневековья были на бумаге.
And lots of real historical events of the Middle Ages were copied on paper, right? So the real stuff from the Prester flow in the 1200s, 1100s, 1300s, they were copied on paper by medieval chroniclers and what? Sent into the past. This is what we're talking about. So you can't tell us, oh, well, Saul was way over there and King David was way over there. They took it from the medieval chroniclers in the 1100s, 1200s, and the Middle Ages and all that, and they sent it into the past, my nigga. So you have no connection to it today.
Бумаги, размноженные средневековыми хронистами и отправленные в прошлое. Как это...
How could this happen if the chroniclers of the Middle Ages made unintentional? Come on, man, it's Hijack City.
Могло произойти, если хронисты средних веков допустили ошибку непреднамеренно. Возьмем 4 старинные летописи.
So let's take the 4 ancient chronicles. They all describe the same events that occur, for example, in Europe in the 1400s. What about America in the 1400s?
Все они описывают одни и те же события, которые происходили, например, в Европе в 15
What about Columbus and them, huh?
веке. Но дело в том, что
But the authors of these chronicles were living not only in the different countries, but even at different times. They spoke and wrote in different languages and used different calendars. This is if it was unintentional.
Авторы этих летописей жили не только в разных странах, но даже в разное время. Они говорили и писали на разных языках, использовали разные летоисчисления. Неудивительно, что, рассказывая об одном и том же короле,
not surprisingly, in telling of the same king, city, or battle, they gave them totally different names, intentional or unintentional. This is the truth, my nigga. The same king, same city, same battle, two different names. Saul, Hilkiah. I mean, yeah. I mean, we could really put it together like this. Same king, same city, battle, switch the names up.
городе или сражении, они давали им совершенно разные названия. Поэтому, когда хронисты 16...
I mean, look at Moshe and look at David. Switch the names up, right? We keep saying, is Moshe David? Did they give us half the story here as this priest, prophet Moshe, and then, you know, the king story they left with Dawid, but they put in a different timeline. But you don't know that he's the priest king. He's the only anointed king by the Creator. And Moses is a king of Cush for 40 years. So he's a priest and king as well. Both fighting giants. Well, Prester flow, all powerful flow back. Magic and dragons with the Prester. Magic and dragons with the Moses / Merlin story. King David / King Arthur story, my nigga, is you seeing clearly. Therefore, when chroniclers in the 1500s to 1600s read these records, they decided that they were talking about 4 different eras.
16-17 веков прочитали эти летописи, они решили, что речь идет о 4 совершенно разных эпохах. И вместо того...
And instead of pulling or putting these accounts simultaneously on the timeline axis, they arranged them in sequence, that is, one after another. And they say the same thing about the Egyptian dynastic rulership, that a lot of these Nesuts in Egypt were ruling on top of each other, like simultaneously. They weren't separate situations in the timeline. And that's their way of spreading out Egypt's history and Egyptologies. You know what I'm saying? It's the same way they're doing with our timeline. Instead of putting them on top and saying this is the same thing, they say they put them in sequence one after the other to expand their timeline, to create history, my nigga. They're creating antiquity, man.
Для того, чтобы поместить эти летописи на оси времени одну над другой,
watch this. Now watch this carefully for the dismount.
их последовательно, то есть...
This is what they've done to your priest king. This is what they've done to Moshe, Prester John, all the lady dragons on the wall. They pushed them back in time. They picked it up right here, right? Whoever here is, they picked it up in the dark ages, right? 1100s, you know nothing about that, right? It's the dark ages. 1200s, you know nothing about that. Genghis Khan coming to America, conquering Prester John, you know nothing about that. But do you know about this?
Друг за другом. Одну летопись они оставили в 15 веке, вторую...
They left one chronicle in the 1400s. Right? That's when they found you. So one story goes there. A second, they push back 300 years. A third, they push back 1,000 years. And a fourth, they push back 1,800 years. The same King David is pushed back 300 years. So now you're reading about a David around with the 1600s and all that stuff. Then they pushed another David 1,000 years back. So now you're reading about a David around that 1000 AD situation, 1100s, and all these exilarchs. They pushed it back again, 1,800 years. So now you're reading about a David around 700 BC and all this stuff, man. My naga, this is not play. They pushed it back at least 3 times. So we're surfing a wave with things being more recent. That the real, timeline is really popping off around this 1200s, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it could be more recent to the 1500s. But don't discount that something that you think happened in the BCs could have really happened in the 1600s, 1400s. Don't discount the fact that this Columbus invasion, St. Christopher, think about St. Christopher the Doghead. They try to put him back to around 200 AD. But then you got Christopher Columbus in 1400s, 1500s, right? Same Columbo. They just dropped him off in different places. One, he's dog-headed. One, he's just, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Think about Titus and Vespasian, you know what I'm saying? And that invasion. What does that got to do with the Columbus flow? Is the Columbus invasion the same thing as the Israelites being invaded by Titus and Vespasian, man? But just push back in the timeline. Is it the same as the Genghis Khan flow? Don't let a couple hundred years throw you off now. They pushed it back 300 years, 1,000 years, and 1,800 years. My naga.
Отодвинули назад на 300 лет,
Bang.
третью назад на 1000 лет,
Bang.
а четвертую на 1800
Way
лет.
back.
Соединили их вместе и
put them all together and you get a very long history.
получилось очень длинное.
That's his story, which is a mystery.
Хронология. Только с помощью метода статистической математики.
Only with the help of mathematical statistics can we have a truly objective analysis of old texts. Without them, unfortunately, it is impossible to construct a chronology.
Можно по-настоящему объективно анализировать старые тексты. Без них, к сожалению, построить хронологию невозможно. Поэтому до нас.
Therefore, to us, the current chronology was never truly established. It was based on very subjective methods.
Подлинная хронология создана не была. Она опиралась на очень субъективно трактуемые методы. До тех пор, пока...
As long as the chronology did not use the methods of mathematics and statistics and astronomy, the field of history will be very subjective and have a very shaky foundation. And we're over here putting the foundation back together. Prester John, number 70, just popping off. So when we read about these Hanans or Anans, sons of Raja Prester John, and they give us a 1222, Managa, this could be the same history that's happening, you know what I'm saying, in the BCs here, or this anion flow, you know what I'm saying, and everything else we digging on. I mean, when you look at this, when you look at, all this back, look, do you see any ice on Antarctica's chest bone, my night? You see any ice on Antarctica? Look at this. This is Antarctica down here. You see any ice? And Perry Reese has the same thing in the 1600s. So what ice, what type of sudden curse hit the land? And did it have anything to do with finding you? Did it have anything to do with finding the kingdom of Prester John, Anion, Quivera, Regnum, Anion? And what does it got to do with Heber, Kivera, Kivera, Kyber, the pass, the Kyber, the pass, the Kyber, the pass? Yeah, the Kyber Mountains or the Kyber Pass. Is it Afghanistan or are we just talking Afghan? And if we're talking Afghan, just like if we're talking Saul, it's getting right back to the rule of King David. And we keep asking, who, my naga? Oh, who? It's Prester John. Hey, ThaWaDa for tuning in to another one, man. to another one, man. And we over here in Antioch just popping off. We over here in the land of the Prester in India Superior, just popping off, my noggin. Hey, Halal HaWah, we coming in hot. You know, probably gonna belly flop right in that Mamanide flow, you know what I'm saying? Connect this AMRAM Ram bomb situation in real time, because it's all happening. It's all happening. Hey, hop to the real ones, man. Press the 70, fall back, enjoy the ride, enjoy the wave. Get the links in the drop chatter, chatter, and surf the way. Allah